Okay, so where I'm at in a good place. There's the two that I did for proof of concept, the 2 stars, and you can see how they're going to have to fit together. Now that way I've chose is pretty good fit. If I look at it from above, actually I can even get that angle right, but when it's chamfered it'll fit together right. Now some of these are wrong, and that's because of those angles in the German wheel being very slightly out, but you're getting the idea. And I've got a fix, and that is I'm going to take 2 pieces, I'm going to reset my German wheel back to flat, route a 10mm deep slot, these are 10mm wide. Then I'm going to put these angles on with a jig I'm going to show you in a minute, or a platform, you know. And I made that platform using this, so, and when I glued the pieces onto it I just held them against there and the side against there, so that I know these angles are spot on. Right, let's get that into shot. Move those out the way, move that in. How do we look there? Back a bit, there, perfect. Right, so I've got a platform set at 90 degrees with the 2 guides on. That's guiding me in an angle of 18 degrees. So I've ground down halfway that way. I've got to remember to come in right. Just till I get to the point, that point. There we go. Just more. So I've got an absolute 36-degree angle there, which is the right angle for the point. I need to move my platform back that way actually. I'm going to do it now because it's not quite right, so I've got to remember to do this that way. That's it, that comes to a point at 36 degrees. When I flip this round and do the other end, so that end, oh you can't see, there's another one of these at the other side set at 36 degrees, and I'll do that angle on that one, so the other end of this, and this gets me over the problem of how to get those angles cut into the German wheel. I cut 1 slot first in the German wheel, and I put 2 of these in, you know, facing outwards, the small point facing outwards, the less, more acute point facing outwards, and I turned the profile on the German wheel using these as the guide, so these become a template for me to cut my template, if you see what I mean. So that means that the German wheels will now have these angles, the right angles. Then after that, if I can get this in without moving now, I'll have to move that again. I've drawn up, redrawn the piece there, making sure that there are 4 points of contact to the edges of the 10mm part, and I did this just using primitives. The 6mm radius is in the corners, and then curve up to the centre, making a not a parabola, an ellipse there, with 6mm minor diameter and whatever it is major diameter, transferred that up to the top curve and then come back in with a 6mm curve. And I've got a 6mm round nose scraper, so I can get those in exactly. I'll still make a template to cut the thing, but I really could do it without it, because you've just got to go down halfway there, 6mm, 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 6mm bend there, blend that curve, and it's done. And the good thing about I mean, you could carve these, but because when you think about it, you're not removing an awful lot of material, are you? You know, you're just doing a little curve there, a tiny little curve, a tiny little curve, and a little bit, tiny bit of relief. But the advantage of doing it on the German wheel is you're doing 30 at a time. Okay, so I'll get the German wheel set up, and I'm nearing the end of this one, and it's gonna work for sure. Thanks for watching.